Hi folks, let's start tying some things together now. We'll use at least our definition of a good. Don't forget that, anything in which more of it is preferred to less in the eyes of the chooser. And we will use our idea of the assumption of comparison, that a consumer faced with some options, some bundles, can rank in order of preferences, that they would prefer this bundle to that, or that bundle to this, or they're indifferent between the two bundles. That was the notion of comparison. And we're also going to employ the axiom of transitivity. If I prefer option A to B, and I prefer option B to C, then it must be the case, to the extent that my tastes and preferences haven't changed, it must be the case that I prefer option A to option C. So let's put these ideas together and kind of work with them in visible form, in a visible form. I'm going to do a graph here. And from about this point on, it's going to be graphs every lecture. Whether it's a video lecture that I've been forced to do now for this first week of classes, or whether it's in the classroom right next door, we're going to be seeing graphs every day now. And hopefully these lectures that you're watching right now will only be for this week. I'm hoping that that Northern will be able to successfully transition now into the in-class lecturing. So let's draw a graph, and on the horizontal axis put good x. So we know that throughout. Remember, a good is anything in which more is preferred to less. And so in the whole axis from 0 to how many units, x is considered a good throughout this analysis in the eyes of this individual. And on the vertical axis put good y. Same thing. Through the whole range of possibilities, more y is preferred to less y in the eyes of this person. I don't know, this could be, economists use too many examples. Male economists use too many examples with beer and alcohol. This could be beer and this could be pretzels. Those types of examples. Let X be any good you wish. This could be non-fiction novels, and that could be fiction novels. And more of either one, you're better off. More of both, you're even more better off. So whatever X and Y are, just understand that they're goods throughout. And let me write this down, draw this down first, and then you could get it in your notes. Here's a point, and it's like 1x and 1y. Here's another point, maybe 2 x's and 2 y's. And I'm going to do something directly above it. I'm not going to put all the dashes. I don't want to mess up the graph. This is like 1 and 1. This is like 2 and 2. I'll put this out further. 2 and 2. This point up here is like 2 x's and 3 y's, right? 1, 2, 3 y's, 1, 2 x's. We're going to make like a square here. This is like 3x. I'll just put on here 1, 2. We won't do the dashed lines. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See that? And let's put a 4 and a 4. 4 on both axes here. And that would be a point out here. It's like these 4 combinations would make a line, right? 4 x's, 4 y's. 4 non-fiction books, 4 fiction books of your favorite author or whoever it might be. Okay, so this is an individual. See, look at how abstract we are right now. Microeconomics is very abstract. And so we're assuming that an individual is facing an array of possibilities, an array of options. Let's label these points. Here, we'll do A, B, C, D, E, and F. How's that? So there's 6 options or bundles of these 2 goods that the individual confronts. And what can we say about this conceptual person? We assume we know that X is a good in this person's eyes, and so is Y. That's all we know about his tastes and preferences. They're both goods. He prefers more to less. But we also, given our definition, our understanding of what a good is, if X and Y are goods in his eyes, we can make certain claims about how he, she, this conceptual chooser, how they would rank these various bundles of X and Y. So for example, consider bundle A. Get this in your notes. Consider bundle A. What can we expect to see? If this person were faced with a choice, he could have just picking freely. If he could pick any option of bundles A through F, which one would he pick? All other things constant. Well, he'd pick bundle A. Why? Because it has the most of both goods, both things that he desires. A has 4 units of X, 4 units of Y. F only has 1 of each. All other things constant, he'd prefer bundle A to F. Isn't that right? As long as his tastes and preferences don't change. They're both goods, etc. So what can we conclude as kind of observers, having some clues about this person's preferences and also seeing the range of options before this person? We assume he can rank or she can rank all these in order of preference. And what I'm saying here is we as observing economists can make the following conclusions. Provided this person's taste and preferences don't change, that Y doesn't become a bad or something like that. What can we conclude? This person would prefer bundle A or option A to bundle B. Isn't that right? And why is that? I mean, A does have more of goods X and Y than B. But this sign here, once again, it's an issue of preference. He finds, or she finds, A more preferred to B. It would provide more utility, overall sense of satisfaction compared to bundle B. So we can conclude, given the options in front of this person and their tastes, without knowing anything more about their tastes and preferences, we could safely, comfortably conclude that this person would prefer bundle A, option A to option B. Makes sense, right? We can also conclude, what about between options A and B? Oh wait, before we get to that, why can we conclude that he would prefer bundle A to bundle B? Maybe get this in your notes. Why? How do we know that? Because A contains, get this in your notes. How do we know that's the case? Because A contains more of both goods compared to bundle B. A contains more of both goods compared to bundle B. More is preferred to less by the very concept and definition of a good. So A must be preferred to B in this person's eyes. So make sure you got that in your notes. Let's compare bundles A and C. Well, once again, bundle C contains 3 and 3, 3X, 3Y, 3 nonfiction, 3 fiction books. A contains 4 and 4. More is preferred to less. It must be the case that this person, we'd be stunned if they chose otherwise. If they had an option, pick freely, whichever one you want, A and C, I would expect them to pick A. We could conclude that the person would prefer bundle A to C, and put in your notes for the same reason as above. What was that reason above? Because A contains more of both goods compared to bundle C. More is preferred to less, therefore A must be preferred to C. In fact, look at bundles A and D. Same thing. What would you prefer? What would he or she prefer? 4 and 4 or 2 and 2? More is preferred to less. Each of these are goods. Bundle A would be preferred to bundle D for the same reasons above, as above. That's also the case with bundle, see how far we could go with this? It's also the case that the person would prefer bundle A to bundle E. It would have a higher rank, preference ranking, right? They got a greater preference for that compared to that, or this, and this, each of those. And then finally, what would you rather have, 4 and 4 or 1 and 1? All other things constant, 4 and 4 is preferred if X is a good throughout and so is Y. So we could also include, for the same reasons as above, the person would prefer bundle A to F. In the end, given these combinations, A is the most preferred compared to any of the others. So we're beginning to put some of our ideas at work. This is simply a consumer facing a different array of options, and we would expect to see A chosen. All other things constant, A chosen over any of these, based purely on preference satisfaction, alone. Okay, what about, let's compare, let's continue with this. I don't think I'll do every combination, but let's continue with this. Let's take bundle B. What about bundle B? Well, we already showed that A, this person would prefer A to B. We already showed that. But now I want to do everything in comparison to bundle B. Compare bundles B and C. What can we conclude? What would this individual conclude? Does he prefer more of one compared to the other? Yes? No? Bundle B. Two of these books, 3 of those books. Provides a certain level of utility or satisfaction or well-being. Has a certain preference ranking, subjectively in this person's mind. 2 of these, 3 of those. Compare bundle B to bundle C. 3 of these and 3 of those. It must be the case, in terms of ranked preferences, that the person would prefer bundle C to bundle B. And I want you to get this in your notes. Get in your notes. Yeah, this definitely get in your notes. He would prefer C to B. And the question is, why would that be the case? Bundle C, although it contains the same amount of good Y as bundle B, bundle C, although it contains the same amount of good Y as bundle B does, bundle B also contains more of good X compared to bundle B. It has the same amount of Y, but it has more of good X compared to bundle B. More is preferred to less, is it not? Good X is a good, along with good Y. And so it must be the case that given these 2 options, just B and C, the person would pick C. If they had a free choice, no bullying or anything like that, bundle C would be preferred to bundle B. What about B and D? See how we're thinking abstractly, yet at the same time we're thinking analytically? And a lot of microeconomics is applied logic. I mean, it's applied math too. We have graphs, we have equations. It's a lot of microeconomics is very advanced math, calculus, topology, a lot of stuff there. But it's also basic applied logic. We're using logic to reach these conclusions, given our understanding of what's being expressed in the axes and all of that. Let's compare bundle B to bundle D. What can you conclude? I'll give you a moment. Pretend C, E, and A aren't there. Person faces these two bundles, B and D. All our other things constant. What would she choose if they had a free choice? Bundle D contains 2 units of X, so does bundle B. Bundle D contains 2 units of Y. Bundle B contains 3 units of Y. It must be the case that the person would prefer bundle B to bundle D. Why is that? Get this in your notes. While both bundles, get in your notes, while both bundles contain the same amount of X, 2 units, bundle B contains more of Y. Bundle B contains more of good Y compared to bundle D. Bundle B contains more of good Y compared to bundle D, and more is preferred to less in this person's eyes. And how do we know that? Because this person considers, by construction here, both X and Y to be goods. And of course, then we could compare B and F. Oh, I'm going to skip B and E for a minute. B and F. B and F. And of course, leave the others out. Faced with these two choices, 1 and 1 or 2 and 3 combinations, person would prefer B to F. The person would prefer B to F. Now we could do this with all the different combinations, and on an exam I might have something like this and ask you to compare bundle D to everything. I don't want to spend the entire lecture doing every possible combination. Just take up too much time. But if you got these ideas, we compared A to all other goods, all other options, and now we're comparing B to all other options. If you understand that, then you could also compare C and D to everything and E to everything and F. This is an easy one. Compare F to everything. F is least preferred. Every other bundle, A through E, is preferred to F. Bang, we got that one out of the way. Notice what I've done, though, is I skipped something. And this is the interesting combination. Once we understand what we've done so far, and I hope that you do, we can make these deductions based on our understanding that these are goods for the individual and our understanding of the amounts of each of these bundles. We can make these deductions as economists. These would correspond to this person's own preference rankings. But there's one combination, and all the different combinations, there's one that that's more interesting. Now compare bundles B and E. And I'm going to, don't erase your graph, but I'm going to erase the other points. These are the only two that we're looking at. So bundle B contains 2 units of X, 2 nonfiction books, and 3 fiction books. Bundle E contains 3 units of X and 2 units of Y. 3 nonfiction books, 2 fiction books. What can we, as observing economists, we know a bit about this person's tastes and preferences. We can make some conclusions about his or her preference rankings. These are safe conclusions to make, with a whole bunch of different combinations, different bundles, different options. But is there any clear conclusion we could reach about this person's preferences when comparing and considering bundles B and E? I had to edit this video because I was writing stuff that you couldn't see over here. So let me continue. The question is this. The bundles B and E are interesting conceptually because we find that we can't make clear conclusions. The question is, can we clearly conclude? There's three possibilities here. Can we clearly conclude, number one, bundle B, this person would prefer bundle B to bundle E? Can we be confident in claiming, yes, that must be true? Well, look at bundle B contains 2 units of X, good X, right? Good X, nonfiction books. Contains two of those, and it contains 3 of fiction novels. 3 units of X. Bundle B contains more of good Y compared to bundle E. Right? Bundle E contains 2 fiction novels. Bundle B contains 3. And is it more preferred to less? So maybe is it perhaps necessarily the case that the person therefore must rank bundle B more highly than bundle E? Well, but look at just the opposite. Bundle B contains only 2 units of X. Fiction books. Bundle E contains 3 units of X. Well, 3 is desirable, more than 2 is. The problem here is that bundle B, while it contains more of one good, it contains less of the other good. Bundle E, while it contains more of one good, good X, it contains less of the other good. So in fact, can we clearly conclude that bundle B would be preferred in this person's eyes to bundle E? The answer is no. It contains more of one, but less of the other. If it contained more of both, like bundle A did up here, well then we could clearly conclude A would be preferred to B. But B contains more of one, but less of the other. So we as observing economists can't confidently say that this must be the case. Can we clearly conclude that? Question mark? No. Well, the flip side of that is, can we clearly conclude that bundle E is preferred to bundle B in this person's eyes? And the answer once again is no. Bundle B is nice on the X dimension. It contains 3 X's as opposed to bundle B, which only contains 2 X's. That's nice. But bundle B contains only 2 units of Y, the fiction novels, compared to bundle B, which contain 3 of those. So this is the flip side. If we can't clearly say the person definitely prefers bundle B to E, then we also can't clearly say and conclude, or the person definitely prefers bundle E to B. We don't have enough information to make that conclusion. We need to know more about the person's tastes and preferences. Now, I know what you might be thinking if you're following along with this video. The question is then, well, if we can't say one is preferred to the other, can we clearly conclude instead of all of that, remember this equal sign, equally preferred? Must it be the case then, having eliminated these two, must it be the case that the only thing we can conclude is that the person finds bundles B and E equally preferred? The person's indifferent between bundles B and E. And that might be a tempting conclusion to reach, but we can't even make that conclusion. But you could remark, But wait a minute. Okay, bundle E contains fewer units of Y, 2 as opposed to 3 fiction novels. But maybe that's fully offset by the gain in X. It contains 3 works of nonfiction, good X. So maybe the loss of good Y, going from 3 to 2, is completely matched, offset by the gain in good X. And therefore, the person would find bundle E equally valuable to bundle B. Or you could look at it the opposite way. Bundle B contains fewer works of nonfiction, 2 as opposed to 3. So the person might find, okay, they lose 1 unit of X, and maybe it's fully offset, equally matched by that 1 whole unit gain in Y, the work of fiction, right? But notice that you and I really can't say that because we don't know, relatively speaking, how much more or less he values in addition. We know more is preferred to less, but we don't know exactly how much he values, or she values, X, a work of nonfiction, against Y, a work of fiction. These might not be equal things in this person's eyes. The person might love nonfiction compared to fiction. And so giving up 1 unit of Y, 1 work of fiction, to gain 1 work of nonfiction might make this person very happy, be willing to make that trade-off. Or perhaps the person loves fiction novels. Instead of, and here we're talking about maybe giving up a work of nonfiction, going from 3 to 2, and getting a whole book, some whole novel, fiction-based novel, might make the person ecstatic. See, what we can't say is that he or she values these goods at a 1-to-1 ratio, at a 1-to-1 rate. We don't know enough about their tastes and preferences to make that claim. If they valued one book equally with another book, then we might be able to say, yeah, B and E, they'd be indifferent between the two. 2 of these and 3 of those, 3 of those and 2 of these, fine. But we don't know that. All what we do know is that more is preferred to less. Good, X is a good, Y is a good, and we don't have any more details about this person's tastes and preferences beyond that. And so given the information that we have, some general idea of tastes and preferences, and some array of options, we're able to make clear conclusions when we're ranking all the other bundles. But when it comes to bundles B and E, we can't conclude anything as a necessity. Definitely is this, definitely is that, or must definitely be this. The bottom line is we don't know. We don't have enough information. And where we're going with this is that this is a nice exercise in analytics and putting some of our ideas together and all of that. And where we're going, heading next, is indifference curves. Some of you may have seen indifference curves maybe in your micro principles course, or perhaps in an upper level applied micro course. But I'm assuming most of us haven't seen indifference curves, and that they will give us some more analytical information that will allow us to talk about these types of possibilities and equally preferred bundles. Indifference curves are illustrating bundles of equally preferred items or combinations of goods. So that's where we're going. This is just the beginning. Like I said, graphs every lecture from this point on. See you folks. Bye.